What's going on, everybody? I'm back. Welcome back to Z Sports and Entertainment. I am your boy Z, coming to you from the basement. Tonight, I made a mistake. So last night, I was gonna record a video for college football championship Saturday. Where I fucked up was I forgot that the Pac-12 always plays their championship game the Friday night before championship Saturday. So instead of me making one big, preview predictions video for all the conference championship games, we gonna do a Pac-12 championship recap, and we gonna do a championship Saturday predictions. I think y'all gonna like that. We gonna pop it off with this Pac-12 championship recap. Back-to-back seasons. We got Utah going up against the new powerhouse that some people would say, in USC, Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. Game's over, so I'm pretty sure everybody knows what happened. Utah won this game 47-24, which not only was a surprise, but it was honestly a tale of two halves. It was honestly a tale of two halves. USC started this game cooking. I mean, they came out clicking on all cylinders. I'm talking about Washington came out balling. Caleb Williams came out balling. Caleb Williams had an early 50-plus yard touchdown run. Lead was 17-3 at one point. I know looking at the final score, you probably would have never even thought, but coming out, USC controlled the tempo. They dominated both sides of the ball. Caleb Williams was able to get and do whatever he wanted to. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a long night for that Utah defense. Hell, the Utah offense, for that matter, because, I mean, that first quarter, it looked like it was going to get ugly quick in that first quarter. But Utah stayed. They played the course. They stuck to the game plan. And when I tell you things turned quick, once the clock started going in the second quarter, it was Utah's game from there. It was Utah's game from there. Cameron Rising, Utah's quarterback, he's a winner. He reminds me a lot of Taylor Heineke. He takes risk. He makes the right plays. He always seems to be able to find the open. He's a winner. He's a damn good quarterback, and someone who I feel should get a lot more recognition for the things that he's accomplished. He's a junior, a true junior, not one of these COVID juniors. And what I will say about Utah is this before I, take a deep dive into this game. They're back-to-back Pac-12 champions. This is the second consecutive year that they've potentially knocked a Pac-12 team out of the college football playoff. Last year was Oregon. This year's USC. And it's crazy because there's always a couple of games, maybe one or two games during the season that Utah loses. And it's like, how did we lose that? Like, if you go back and look at their schedule, they lost to Florida. Week 1, opening weekend, college football, they lost to Florida at Florida. That was before Florida completely fell on their face, but they lost that game. They went down to the swamp, and they couldn't pull it out. They also already played USC this season, and that was a damn good game. Utah won 43-42. Caleb Williams had a day. That was just a damn good football game all around. But Utah, they show up in the big moments. And it's crazy because if they're just able to somehow find a way to win the games that they're supposed to, they could very well easily be representing the Pac-12 in back-to-back college football playoffs. But that's not how the game is played. I know they're probably looking at that new 12 bracket, that 12 team bracket, like, man, are you serious? We just beat the number 14. Coming into the game, we were already 11. We just beat the number 4 team in the nation, and you mean to tell me if this was 2 years from now, we'll have a chance at winning the natty? Man, get out of my face. But they gonna take what they get. Y'all see my little belly hot. They gonna take what they can get. They'll be they Rose Bowl, unless the Rose Bowl this year is a part of the semifinals. But other than that, Utah, congratulations, y'all had a hell of a game. Cameron Rising, you balled, my boy, you balled. You took a hell of a hit in that third quarter that you should not have gotten up from. You took a hell of a hit. I'm talking about helmet came off, and it's crazy because it was a clean hit too. You don't see too many clean hits nowadays. Like, man, he took a shot. I mean, he took a shot, but he got back up and act like nothing didn't even happen. Like, that dude got grit. That dude got some balls, bro, for real. And that defense, they smothered Caleb Williams in the second half. He couldn't breathe. Granted, he finished with 200. He finished with what did he finish with? Like 360 plus yards. Did he have 100 yards rushing? He did not have 100 yards rushing. I want you guys to look. Check this out. Caleb Williams had 12 carries for 21 yards, and his longest run was 59 yards. I want you guys to think about that. Keep in mind, in college football, sacks go against your rush yards. So if you get sacks, -5, sack, -6, -4, -8, that goes against your rush yards. For this young man to have 59, for this young man's longest run to be 59 yards, and he finished the game with 21 total yards rushing, that's saying something about Utah's defense. They were getting to him. They were in his face that entire second half. Caleb Williams could not breathe. It was almost a little painful to watch. I mean, Lincoln Riley goes to USC, takes almost the whole damn Oklahoma team with him. Recruits flip. I mean, it was crazy. Tonight was supposed to be Caleb Williams' Heisman moment. And there's a very good chance he could still win the Heisman. But I really think this might have just screwed everything up. I think there's no Heisman. We know there's no college football playoff. Who knows what bowl they're about to get thrown in. You're losing your number one receiver in Jordan Addison to the draft. There's no doubt about it. And to be honest with you, the only reason Caleb Williams isn't going to the draft is because he's a true sophomore. USC, with all that being said, you guys had a great season. You got your coach. You got your quarterback for one more year. And you got recruits coming in that want to be a part of that offense, that want to be a part of this culture change. Take your L. You got beat. You got whooped. Regroup. Because next year, coming into the season, I promise you, y'all are going to be the favorites to win the Pac-12. I guarantee you, when over 80, 90% of everybody's college football playoff, you guys will be there. So, yeah, you lost tonight. Yeah, Caleb Williams, you painted your fingernails, the whole, fuck Notre Dame. It worked. Fuck Utah. They said fuck you too. But I want to get back to Utah real quick. And, perfect. Well, exactly. Utah had 7 sacks. 7. They had 7 sacks. They had 2 players with multiple sacks. They had 11 tackles for loss. I mean, 7 sacks and 3 quarterbacks. I mean, Caleb Williams was running for his life. I just don't know what else to say. I mean, Utah came out and USC came out, punched him in the mouth. They got him, punched him in the mouth, clean. Utah, we eat those. Utah said we eat those for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they came back and they destroyed USC. They did. They destroyed USC. I mean, Mr. Jackson Jesus Christ, have a day. Like, real talk. Number 3? Like, I don't even understand. Like, because I'm watching the game, and mind you, this is the first Utah game I have watched, like, live, outside of highlights and stuff like that. So, like, it kind of, took me for a loop, but Mr. Jackson, what's your first name? Jaquindon Jackson. Jaquindon Jackson from Utah. Hold on, let me get my phone because I want to get this right. He's a quarterback. Mr. Jaquindon Jackson is the backup quarterback for Utah. 6'2", 227 pounds. Number 3. If you watched the game, you saw a lot of him. His numbers tonight: 13 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. You getting that production from a backup quarterback? He didn't throw one pass. Next, Michael Bernard, number 2. This is the one who was popping out. Like, he was popping. He wasn't playing. 11 carries, 88 yards, and a tud. They ran and that's also with Cameron Rising throwing over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and what? 81 QBR. I mean, you take the first quarter away, and Utah beats them bad. I mean, bad. You got to understand, it was 17-3 in the first quarter. It was 17-17 at halftime. Second quarter on, the final score of that game, what? Utah 44, USC 7? I don't want to sit here and say that, USC, Lincoln, I don't want to sit here and say that he choked, but, and I hate to be like this, but like Lincoln Riley did, he did what Lincoln Riley does. Lincoln Riley has great regular seasons. Get into a situation where, you compete for a championship, and we can take it back. I mean, all the way back to the Rose Bowl against Georgia. Rose Bowl against Georgia with Baker Mayfield. Orange Bowl with Kyler Murray in Miami against Alabama. This is a sidebar, but that famous clip of Quinnen Williams, the press conference before that playoff game against Kyler Murray is resurfacing. Quinnen Williams was. I think it's pretty obvious that Quinnen Williams was about to say that he didn't think Kyler Murray was as good as everybody was saying he is, but he caught himself. It's like you could almost see himself swallow his tongue, like, ooh, I almost fucked up. But look at the NFL today and what the Arizona Cardinals are going through as far as Kyler Murray and stuff like that. Who knows? He might not have been wrong. But Lincoln. Lincoln has to show that he can win that big game. He has to. He has to show that he can win the big game. Whether it be a conference championship game, whether it be a college football playoff game. I mean, kind of the same with Harbaugh up in Michigan. Up until last year, okay, you finally beat Ohio State. So the L to Georgia wasn't necessarily too bad because a lot of people saw it coming. My hair is distracting me. I'm sorry, y'all. So it wasn't that terrible. It wasn't that bad. It was something that you could regroup from. But now with Michigan winning, this is back-to-back seasons. You beat Ohio State. Take care of Purdue. Secure that number 2 spot. Whoever you get at number 3 is looking like it's going to be TCU because it's without Adrian Martinez, it's kind of hard for me to see Kansas State beating, TCU. They already played earlier this year. TCU came out on top. Max Duggan and Quentin Johnson. But I'm getting off topic. Michigan win. Take care of Purdue. Secure that number 2 spot. Looking like you're going to be going up against TCU. Handle business against TCU. And it's a good chance you could have a rematch you've been asking for. I'm speaking on Michigan now. And I'm talking about them playing Georgia again. I don't know. But that's all I really got for the Pac-12 title game. I mean, like I said, Cameron Rising, I salute you. In my opinion, you might have outperformed yourself in the Rose Bowl last year against Ohio State. And that game was crazy. That was a hell of a game. That Ohio State Utah Rose Bowl last year was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Now we're gonna get into the college championship Saturday. We're gonna pop it off. We're gonna pop it off with the Big Ten. I'm sorry, we're gonna pop it off with the Big 12. We have what we got. Big 12. We got number 10 Kansas State going up against number 3 TCU. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Nobody expected TCU to be here. That's just me keeping it honest with you. At the beginning of the season, if you would have asked, it was either Oklahoma, Texas. TCU might have been 3rd or 4th, maybe even 5th and 6th in some people's preseason, rankings as far as the Big 12. Hell, nobody even expected Kansas State to be number 10. But I'm gonna speak on Kansas State first. Deuce Vaughn, I love him. Love Deuce Vaughn. You got a back who 200 plus carries, over 1,200 yards, got 7 touchdowns. You can use him in a receiving game. You got a reliable threat in the backfield. Now, granted, without Adrian Martinez, it's going to be pretty tough. It's going to be tough. But nothing against Will Howard. Will Howard has been starting for a couple of games now. He knows this offense. He has command of this offense. And he's going to give him a chance. He's going to give him a chance. The only reason that they wouldn't have a chance is if Max Duggan, I like that kid. Max Duggan, he reminds me of Ryan Fitzpatrick. If Max Duggan comes out here and has a day, balls, any resemblance of what he did against Kansas State in the first game, you got a problem. They got one of the best backs in the country as well coming out the backfield. Again, another guy. Not even 200 carries, but he has over 1,200 yards. 16 touchdowns. 16 touchdowns. Then that receiver, we all know about Big Quentin Johnson. 6'4", huge. He getting 10 plus targets. So Kansas State, they got their hands full. That game is gonna be played in Arlington, Texas, at Jerry World. Scenery's gonna be great. You got a Texas team in that game, so that's always fun. If I had to put my money on somebody, I'm going with TCU. I don't see them losing right now. I think Max Duggan is he's balling. Real talk, Max Duggan is balling. They're undefeated. They're 12-0. This is their moment. This is their time. This is their chance. I think TCU is going to take full advantage of this opportunity, and I think they're going to knock Kansas State off. Let's go. Where I want to go. Let's go over to the ACC. Neither one of these teams have playoff implications. I mean, Clemson right now is 9. You got number 9 Clemson going up against number 23 North Carolina, and North Carolina kind of disappointed me. North Carolina, 2 weeks ago was 9. They were number 13 in the country, and they were 9-1. And a lot of people felt like they were being disrespected because they got Drake May. They brought in a couple of top recruits these last couple of years. Mac Brown has truly seemed to turn their program around. Taking back-to-back L's these last 2 weeks have really changed a lot of people's opinion on North Carolina. You think about it, they handled business these last 2 weeks with Ohio State losing to Michigan, with South Carolina beating Clemson, with USC falling to Utah. I mean, the possibilities are endless for North Carolina if they just handle business those last two games. This could be a game where they're competing for not only a conference championship, but a spot in the college football playoff. You got to win the games you're supposed to win, guys. You got to win the games you're supposed to win. When you start getting upset and teams start beating you, nah, man, like, you got to win the games you're supposed to win. I cannot stress that enough. North Carolina with Drake May going up against DJ. I ain't even finna try to pronounce your last name, Holmes. But DJ going up against Drake. You got Will Shipley coming out the backfield. I think Clemson's going to handle business. I ain't even going to take too much time on this. They got the top prospects on defense. They got 11 Reese. It's either Reese or Brees. I don't know. I just know he's a dog. Interior D-line. You got Miles Murphy, edge rusher. You got DJ. If DJ don't work out, you got, Klubik? Something like that. Will Shipley in the backfield. I mean, I just don't see any scenarios in which Clemson loses this game. Unless Drake May just comes out here and has like an all-time performance, which he is more than capable of doing. I ain't going to say he can easily throw for over 400-500 yards, but Drake May can sling it. He can also run the rock. I want to say he leads his team in rushing as well. He does. Drake May. Over 600 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns. This man only has 5 interceptions all season. I mean, they win those last 2 games, you might be looking at your Heisman front runner, especially after what Caleb Williams just did tonight. I'm just saying. But I truly think Clemson is going to come out on top. I think just from a talent standpoint, I think there'll be too much. I do think it'll be a close game, somewhat maybe like a 27-21, 27-17 type of game. But I got Clemson winning. So far, Utah has knocked off USC. I got Clemson taking the ACC crown. I got TCU taking the Big 12 crown, moving into the college playoff football. Let's move up to the Big 10. We got 8-4 Purdue, unranked 8-4 Purdue going up against Michigan, the number 2 team in the nation, 12-0, coming off a huge win against Ohio State in Ohio State. I ain't gonna hold you. With or without Blake Corum, I don't see Purdue winning this game. I just don't. Michigan will have to come out and completely fall on their faces. Purdue does have one of the most productive receivers in the country, and Mr. Jones. Is that 97 catches? Good Lord, he's gonna get the ball. He got 97 catches, 1,199 yards, and 12 touchdowns. Good Lord, that's production, ladies and gentlemen. That is production. J.J. McCarthy coming off his best game of the year. I just feel like Michigan's grooving. I do feel like Michigan's grooving. That game is going to be played in Indianapolis, up in the Lucas Oil Stadium. Scene's going to be great. Probably going to be a lot of Michigan people. I just don't see a scenario where Michigan loses. I'm sorry. I don't. I think Michigan handles business. I think they lock in that number 2 seed, and it's off to the playoff for them. I truly do. I truly believe that. I don't think this game will be too close. I'm thinking maybe like a 31, 34 to 13 type of deal. I could be wrong. But when I'm speaking on Purdue, when you got a quarterback who makes a lot of risky throws, who may force some pass, you can't. When you're going up against this Michigan team is different from last year's Michigan team. This Michigan team, you can't make many mistakes on them, if any at all. Purdue is going to have to come out and play damn near the perfect game. I got Michigan on top. I got Michigan pulling it out. Last but not least, and this is not the last championship Saturday, but when it comes to, we speaking on Power 5, we speaking on the college football playoff. Yeah, I could get into the American Athletic Conference with UCF and Tulane. Just real quick, I think Tulane is going to win that game. They got home field advantage. The AAC is one of those conferences where we don't have a neutral site, championship game. best record, highest seed, whatever the case may be, they get the home field advantage. I think Tulane is going to pull that out. Right now, Tulane sits at 18. UCF sits at 22. UCF, they beat them earlier this year, and I think Tulane's going to come back for it. I think Tulane's going to rebound. I think Tulane's going to win this game, the more meaningful game. I'll say that. But we're going to end it with y'all know what, man. The SEC Championship, the granddaddy of them all. And as a Georgia fan, I couldn't be more happy for the opponent. I couldn't be more happy for the situation, for the opportunity. You got number 1 Georgia going up against number 14 LSU. And I'll be honest with you, LSU dropped the ball bad last week. That loss to Texas A&M was a bad loss. It was a terrible loss. I ain't finna sit here and sugarcoat it. It was a terrible loss. As well, with an opportunity to be in the college football playoff, even with 2 losses. Even with 2 losses, you got a chance to be in the college football playoff. We never know what this committee's gonna do. We don't. You win that game next week. You win that game last week, then come into this championship game, and you just somehow, all of a sudden, miracle God on your side, knock down the big bag dogs. Ain't no way you not in that playoff. Michigan moves to 1. TCU moves to 2. Ohio State may get the at-large at 3. You coming in right there for SEC champs. Fuck them 2 losses. That's just real talk. That's how that works. That's how that works. I don't know. Ohio State or Georgia might have got that 3rd spot. But, yeah. Anyway. I think Stetson Bennett is going to come out here and have a day. I think he's going to come out here and have one of the best games of his career. I don't see Georgia being run heavy. I think they're going to get their guys. I think they're going to go to McConkey. I think they're going to go to Bowers. I think they're going to try to get Smith involved early on defense. We have 2 points of emphasis in this game. Contain Jalen Daniels, and don't allow Harold Perkins to be a factor. If we can do those 2 things, even somewhat good, we should have no problems winning this game. I ain't going to get stuck on it. I ain't going to get caught up in, me being a Georgia fan. That's just point blank, period. Jalen Daniels, Harold Perkins. You neutralize both of them, I don't understand why this shouldn't be a 3-touchdown plus win. Take the SEC crown back to Athens. Celebrate for a week. Maybe not even that long. And get ready for who you finna play. Because as of right now, unless something absolutely crazy happens, right now you're looking at Ohio State. And I can break it down for you. Georgia wins, you got Georgia 1. Michigan wins, you got Michigan 2. TCU wins, you got TCU 3. Your only other option is to give Ohio State that at-large at 4. That's just real talk. But let's say TCU loses. Let's say TCU loses. I could very easily see a scenario where you got Georgia 1, Michigan 2, Ohio State moves up to 3, and somehow, by God Almighty, Alabama gets in at 4. Because I'm a very firm believer that the committee would look at a 10-2 Alabama team and put them in over a 12-1 TCU team. I truly believe that. I truly believe that the SEC has that much more over the Big 12. Over the Big 12. I really believe that. I truly believe that. I do. A lot of people would not like it. A lot of people wouldn't think it's right, but that's what the people will want to see. I'm pretty sure for TV ratings and stuff like that, they're rooting for TCU to lose. But again, I just don't see TCU losing this game. I don't see TCU losing to Kansas State. I don't. I genuinely don't. Man. it's gonna be fun tomorrow. I can't wait. I got my prize picks ready. Got a nice amount of money on there. Got my medicine. Got food. I'm ready. I'm ready. I am ready. I am ready to enjoy some good football. I am ready to enjoy the releasing of the final college football playoff ranking so we can know what's going on. I'm hoping some of these, star players have some key Heisman moments. I'm just looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I appreciate y'all, man. That's all I got tonight. That's what I got for you. I appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, share. I am Z, again, coming to you from the basement. This is Z Sports and Entertainment.